If the lie seems a more interesting and colourful story than the truth, chances are that it will become generally accepted and passed around until it becomes the myth that most people choose to believe, without even challenging the story by applying any test of probability, credibility, or common sense, or testing its validity with any research. Once the myth is accepted, it often becomes part of the collected information on Google and Wikipedia, and then there is a good chance it will become widely believed and disseminated as the truth. Often these stories become accepted and popularized in the form of an urban myth, and although many of them are easily proven to be untrue by even the most cursory research, they continue to be believed. With such things as bush folklore, mistaken word and name derivations, and sporting history furphies, these misconceptions that become myths are merely an annoyance to pedants, and those with particular related academic or recreational interests. Often sentiment plays a part, and comforting lies are more palatable than uncomfortable truths. There is, however, a far more sinister side to myth creation. There are times when the creation of myths can have the effect of perverting both our history and our culture, if we're not careful. The attempted demonisation of James Cook and the beatification of Edward Kelly are perfect examples of this. Although much of the factual and circumstantial evidence shows that Kelly was a violent and egotistical career criminal, a pathological liar and a murderer, the myth of the brave rebel fighting for the rights of the underdog against harsh persecution has persisted, flourished, and grown out of all proportion. Of all the Aussie myths, the story of the Kelly gang is the easiest to debunk through research. Yet the myth is so strong in Australian minds that it is virtually impossible to demythify. You have to strain credibility, common sense, and much of the written evidence to near breaking point in order to establish and validate the myth of Ned Kelly. But people keep doing it. If this continues, who knows? We may one day see a biography that reads, Edward Kelly was famous in Victoria during the late 1800s. His business empire grew through livestock trading and the acquisition of valuable equestrian assets and innovative banking schemes. Beginning in 1870, he devoted several years of his life to government service, finally taking leave to resume his dealings with the livestock industry. In the late 1870s, he was a key player in a vital investigation run by the Victoria Police Force. In 1880, Mr. Kelly passed away during an important civic function held in his honour when the platform upon which he was standing collapsed. In the case of James Cook, a complete lack of any understanding of what the man was about and how much control he had over his own destiny has led to his place in our history being totally misrepresented in recent times. Here is a perfect example of the past being judged by those who have no concept of history and can only think of the past in terms of their own modern-day moral compass and sentiments, in an age of entitlement and individual rights. Researching and writing these accounts has reinforced my belief that any understanding of the past requires the ability to shift the mind to other times and understand the social and political landscapes in which these people then operated. The reason several of the parts of this book are longer than others is that the truth is always in the background to the story, never in the events themselves. Understanding history is not about knowing what happened, it's about knowing why it happened. To understand any event in any war or discovery or social conflict, it is essential to have some knowledge of the politics of the time, the diplomatic skullduggery of the period, the social forces at work within the population, and the accepted laws, conventions, and spiritual ideas of the age. I have attempted to expose some of these Australian myths and misconceptions by explaining the facts, as far as they can be discovered by research, and the social and political contexts in which the events